Most people don't know the truth about how insurers and repair shops handle claims behind the scenes, and it can cost you thousands or even put your life and the lives of others at risk. Today, I'm breaking down the biggest tactics insurers use to pay you less and why proper repairs matter more than ever. Stay tuned. This information could save your next claim and possibly your life. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of The Airing of Grievances. If you're new here, my name is Eric. Usually, Rob Grieve is right here with me. However, he's got a ton on his plate today, and so he's asked me to share this important information with you. If you're one of our faithful, thanks so much for being a part of our community over the last 4.5 years. We're the only consumer-forward channel focused on what really goes on behind the scenes in automotive collision repair, and we're helping you protect your vehicle, your wallet, and the safety of those you love. Earlier today, I took a moment to search through this channel's more than 200 videos, and I sorted them by what you, our viewers, have indicated as the most relevant and important topics that we share with you. Some of these will come as no surprise to you, especially if you've been with us for any length of time. However, at least 2 of the topics surprised even me. So stick with me right to the end, and I'll share with you what those are and why they're so important to you. One of the most popular topics that we cover has to do with post-repair inspections. We talk about how insurers and their partner body shops, the ones that we call DRPs, that's direct repair program or direct repair partners, those insurers and those body shops working together sometimes can cut corners on your repairs. And it is not uncommon. And among our videos, you will find a lot of those videos talking about how people take their vehicles to other body shops, these partner shops that are in partnership with insurers, and they come away after receiving their car after it's been repaired, air quotes for that, and they call us and say, hey, I just feel like something's not right. Could you take a look? And we're happy to take a peek underneath the hood, if you will, or wherever your car was injured, and take a look and see how well they did that repair. And the stories that we tell are gruesome. It's so important to get a post-repair inspection. It's so important to find a trustworthy, independent shop to tell you the truth, even if it means you have to take that car back and either get the insurer or the body shop to stand behind the repair that they did. Now, another very popular topic is that of the Appraisal Clause. And let's talk about what the Appraisal Clause is and how it affects disputes that you might have. You see, the Appraisal Clause is a provision in many auto insurance policies that gives a formal way to resolve disputes over the value of a vehicle or the amount of a loss. If you and your insurer disagree on the car's value after a claim, for example, in the event of a total loss, each party gets to hire an independent appraiser if you have the Appraisal Clause. And that is written into many of your policies, but not all of them. If it is not a total loss, one insurer, State Farm, at least in the state of Colorado, does not allow the Appraisal Clause. It's not in your policy. The only time it comes to surface in your policy is when we're talking about total loss and the valuation. But in any case, if those appraisers, they can't agree, they select a neutral umpire. That decision by the umpire is binding and final, and it effectively settles the dispute without going to court. All right, so let's talk a little bit about when and maybe why you should invoke the Appraisal Clause. You might invoke the Appraisal Clause when you believe that the insurer's settlement offer undervalues your vehicle or the damage to your vehicle. It's useful when negotiations stall and you want a formal binding valuation to ensure a fair payout based on actual market value rather than the insurer's lowball estimate. And trust me, they do that a lot. Here are some of the pitfalls that you don't often realize when invoking the appraisal clause. The appraisal clause typically only applies to disputes about the amount of loss, not coverage issues or liability. Using it can delay payment since the appraisal process takes time. Trust me when I tell you that the insurer will do all that they can to stretch that amount of time out because they're sitting in the high position. They have all the money and all the time in the world, and they're banking on the fact that you will run out of money, time, and patience. You must follow policy procedures carefully to invoke it. Missing deadlines or missteps can forfeit your rights. Sometimes appraisal outcomes may still favor the insurers if the appraisers are leaning towards industry standards or data that favors the insurer. And finally, appraisal costs are typically paid by you, depending on your policy. Knowing how and when to use the appraisal clause can protect you from unfair low valuations, but requires careful attention to policy terms and deadlines. The third topic that we bring to you today is something that comes up in almost every single one of our videos, and that is the dangers of not using OEM parts. We share with you in video after video after video why aftermarket parts can compromise your safety and the performance of your vehicle. You know, by the very definition, aftermarket parts are not the same as original equipment manufacturer parts. They're not the same. They can't be the same. And because of that, often don't fit properly. We don't have any documentation of their structural integrity. We don't know what they're made out of. And so it might look similar, you know, the old phrase of like, kind, and quality, but it's really a crapshoot. And that's a gamble that we here at Nylund's will not take. It's too important. Your safety is too important. We also talk about how insurers often push non-OEM parts or aftermarket parts or even salvaged parts from the junkyard in order to save them money. And we also share with you what to demand in your policy. That is, OEM rider. You can pay a little bit extra to get an OEM rider that will put OEM parts or will tell the repair shop to use OEM parts, and it overrides whatever the terminology of your policy is because you've purchased this rider. And then we also talk to you about what to expect from your repair shop. We unabashedly tell you to insist upon OEM parts and procedures. And if you have any question about whether or not the shop is going to follow the OEM procedures and use OEM parts, ask them. You have the right to do so. If they don't give you a straight answer, if they hem and haw about it, or if they say, no, your policy says we get to use aftermarket or salvage parts, it might be time to look for another shop. Now, I told you that there were a couple of videos that really popped off on our channel, and both of them really kind of surprised me. And here is one of them. It was about total loss valuation and insurer shenanigans that go on behind the scenes. The name of that video is Don't Get Suckered. And by the way, all of the videos that I'm talking about today are in the description box, and you'll see little flags pop up if you're looking through the app. But insurance companies often undervalue totaled vehicles using biased third-party market valuation reports with inaccurate, or get this, non-existent comparable vehicles. That's right. You heard me right. They actually submit to you an undervalued estimate for your vehicle based on a report that uses, I think, three different comparable vehicles. And it is always our encouragement to you, if you are going through the process of a total loss, look up those comparables, call up the dealerships where those vehicles are supposed to be, and ask them. It includes the VIN number. Hey, can I talk to you about the car with this VIN? And will you share with me, is it on the lot? How long has it been on the lot? And they often will tell you that car's been gone for 6 months or a year, or even this. We've never had that car on our lot. And yet there it is on the insurance report, citing a valuation lower than it should be in favor of the insurer, and it doesn't even exist. If we had a nickel for every time we heard this story, we'd have a big pile of nickels. Listen, consumers need to verify key details like the zip code, the mileage, the equipment, and the existence and prices of comparable vehicles in these reports in order to make sure that everything's on the up and up. If you dispute the valuation, you can invoke your policy's appraisal clause to hire an independent appraiser for potentially higher payout. Recent events like hailstorms, we're going right through the middle of hail season here in Colorado, that can increase total loss claims, making it especially important to understand and challenge low valuations when necessary. And then perhaps the topic that surprised me the most, that really rang your bell, you, our viewers, really appreciated and continue to appreciate the video that we have of a gentleman named Joshua Green. He's a former Geico adjuster who testified in a Washington State Senate hearing on House Bill 1473, I believe it is. And in that video, he clearly testified explicitly that his advancement at the company depended on writing the lowest possible repair estimates and controlling costs, which reflects a direct incentive to adjust claims down rather than fairly. He said that the insurance company's metrics rewarded minimizing repair costs, not ensuring safety or quality. Another thing that he said in this video, and if you haven't seen it, boy, I encourage you to go watch it today. He noted that adjusters are not vehicle repair experts and that the companies are focused on controlling costs, often dictating repairs by refusing to pay for necessary procedures and shifting costs onto the consumers or down to the shops. And when did that ever make sense? The shop didn't get into an accident, and yet the insurer would have the shop absorb the cost for proper repairs. That's ridiculous. Mr. Green's testimony clearly indicates that the job of an adjuster, as experienced by him, an adjuster, involves adjusting claims down in favor of the insurer and against the consumer. Now listen, those are just talking about 5 of the hundreds of topics that we've covered in the 230 videos of the airing of grievances. We have a playlist if you want to take a look at all those topics and check them out. You can sort those by the number of views, so you can, kind of like what I did today, to see if there's something that's important to you. All I would ask of you is, if these topics matter to you, we believe that you're in the right place. Subscribe now and join the many viewers learning how to navigate repairs and insurance with confidence. On behalf of Rob, who couldn't be here today, I want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us for ours. And I normally have a coffee cup here to greet you. I don't have that coffee cup with me right now, but let me tell you this, we're thankful for you. We genuinely appreciate you. Please stay safe out there, and we'll see you next Saturday.